It's a orange juice.
What's going on, everyone? This is Yarn from Orange Juice. We'll be talking about how to counter the miner. This video takes a different approach on the typical counter videos. Since the miner can be deployed anywhere on the map, you need to analyze the psychology behind its deployment. The most cost-effective card to counter a miner are skeletons or goblins. They're perfect if your opponent doesn't have a zap on hand. Otherwise, glass cannons or mini tanks are the next best choices. Knight or mini P.E.K.K.A come to mind. To counter the miner, you need to understand how he works and when it makes sense to use him. His pathing is predictable to a degree. As soon as he reaches the bridge, you can tell if he's gonna go left or right. From there, if your opponent deploys him on the tower, the miner will split again, left or right. Due to the 1-second server delay, the most helpful indication is the first split before the bridge. If you hover a unit around his dirt, another visual indication is the exclamation mark. When you deploy a miner on a tower, there are 4 sides to choose from. On the inner tile, this is the kill zone where the other arena tower can target the miner as well. The corner tiles are just barely out of range, but he can easily be pushed into range. Because of this, it's safe to assume most players won't deploy him there. On the other hand, miner deployment is a psychological game. Maybe you do want to plant him in the kill zone. Another uncommon area of deployment is the front side. There are 2 reasons. 1. If the miner supporting minions, splash attacks such as the wizard's fireball aimed at the miner will also chip the minions. 2. If the miner's tanking for a mini P.E.K.K.A and you plant him in front, it's easier to counter. It makes more sense to spread the miner apart. That was over 1,000 damage done to the tower. Because of that, the 2 most preferred sides are behind the arena tower and on the outer side. Now that you know where he'll path, and you know the sides he'll most likely be planted on, you have to learn your opponent and try to predict his moves. Since it's generally not a good idea to plant the miner in front and on the inside, you can rule out these tiles. Now you have to guess will it be on the side or behind. The best tiles to take advantage of this are the corner tiles. Your units won't have to walk far for either the top or the side. Take note of where your opponent places the miner. Some players will continue this pattern for the entire game, and you'll be able to predict the miner 100% of the time. If you're desperate to protect your tower, you can use high-cost units such as Minion Horde to take out the miner. Be careful not to be out-predicted. Here I predicted my opponent would protect the left tower, so I sent my miner to the right side. The miner is the perfect counter against the princess. 2 whacks to the head, and she's done. To effectively use the miner, it's all about predicting patterns, whether you're using him or defending against him. It's very important to predict patterns when using or countering the miner. Here I noticed my opponent would always plant the princess in the center to take out my minions, so I waited until he had a princess in his hand, then baited her with my minions, and pre-planted my miner to where the princess would be. Since the miner counters the princess, you have to read the situation. If your opponent needs to take out your princess, surround her and protect her with skeletons. You can do this with other units too. Mini P.E.K.K.A wrecks the miner. Some very good combos with the miner are swarms such as minion hordes and glass cannons such as mini P.E.K.K.A. Since the miner has reduced damage to crown towers, his primary function is being a mini tank. He outputs less damage per second than 1 skeleton on an arena tower. Because of this, it may be more wise to take out the associating combos if you can't immediately address the miner. Minions and mini P.E.K.K.As have high DPS and are therefore used to defend. Since the miner has a low cost, by the time the glass cannon is finished defending, the miner is typically deployed to tank. Here's an example of the miner tanking for goblins. Together they dealt over 1,500 damage. Fast forward the match, and the enemy went in for another miner goblin attack. The cannon was placed close enough to the miner, but far enough that the goblins would aggro towards it. Given that Zap wasn't in rotation, this was a much better defense. The miner is a hard counter to buildings. He'll destroy passive buildings for a positive elixir trade. Once you discover your opponent has a miner, unless you have high damage troops such as mini P.E.K.K.A or goblins to kill the miner, it's not a good idea to use the elixir pump anymore. Similar to the arena tower, you need to understand which tiles he should and shouldn't be planted on. If the elixir pump is planted beside the king's tower, generally these tiles are avoided because the miner will go straight to the king's tower after taking out the pump and activating him early. With that being said, it's an amazing location to use the miner as most people are unfamiliar with this positioning. The miner generally shouldn't be deployed directly above the arena tower on these two tiles, as he'll just target the tower instead. One interesting thing to note is that the miner will always attack the left corner of the pump. So with that in mind, these are the spaces he'll most likely be planted on. If you don't know the pattern of your opponent, or if your opponent is smart enough to randomize their pattern, the safest place to plant the card is in the corner to minimize travel distance to both sides. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more quality OJ. Buzz.